You are not bound by your past. You are not stuck in your current situation. Right now, in this very moment, you have the power to speak words that shift your reality. Life does not respond to worry, fear, or doubt. It responds to the clarity of your command, the power of your faith, and the consistency of your words. Every hour, remind yourself, all things are working together for my good. Even when you cannot see the full picture, even when the circumstances feel heavy, this truth stands firm. Speak it, not just when life feels easy, but especially when you feel tested. Your words are not empty, they are seeds. And every time you speak, you plant. Your words are not just sounds, they are signals to the universe, creative forces that shape your reality in ways far greater than you can immediately perceive. Every word you speak carries energy, intention, and direction. When you speak with faith and conviction, your words begin to mold the conditions around you. Most people live unaware of this truth, casually speaking doubt, fear, or lack into existence without realizing they are reinforcing the very things they want to escape. But once you become conscious of the power within your voice, you step into a different dimension of life, a dimension where creation begins not outside of you, but within your own mind and mouth. When you say something with repetition, it becomes belief. And what you believe, you attract. That's why when you consistently speak affirmations like, "I am favored," or "everything is working in my favor," you begin to notice a shift, not because the external world changed overnight, but because you aligned your vibration with a higher truth. Speaking it every hour is not about superstition or empty ritual. It's about embedding a new identity within your subconscious. The moment your subconscious accepts a new idea, it begins to act on it. It sends signals to your body, your emotions, and your surroundings, making it your new normal. Words are not passive, they are commands, and the universe is always listening. Think about this. When you speak fear, your body tenses, your mind narrows, and your actions follow suit. You become a magnet for stress and confusion, but when you speak life, words of peace, joy, provision, your body relaxes, your mind opens, and your path begins to clear. Everything starts to reflect the new language you're choosing. That's not imagination. That's spiritual law. And spiritual law is more precise than physical law when you truly engage it. You are always creating, whether you know it or not. The difference between the unaware and the awakened is the understanding of this law of words. A person who speaks carelessly lives a scattered, uncertain life, but the one who speaks with intention lives with direction, alignment, and power. Every hour, you have the opportunity to reinforce your vision, to speak your desires as if they've already happened, and to call into being the version of yourself and your life that you know is possible. There is no need to force change through exhaustion when your spoken word can begin the transformation from the inside out. Speaking with faith is like giving your soul a compass. It steadies you in moments of doubt and draws unseen forces to work on your behalf. It creates divine coincidence, attracts unexpected blessings, and unlocks paths you didn't know existed. Speak it, say it aloud, repeat it until it becomes your truth. Your words are forming your future. They are not random, they are sacred, and the more you speak with awareness, the more your outer world aligns with your inner command. When you speak as if it's already done, you bypass the limitations of doubt, fear, and delay. You step into the energetic frequency of completion. The universe does not respond to desperation. It responds to certainty. When you declare something not as a request, but as a fact, it is already mine. I am already healed. The door is already open. You align yourself with the result, not the problem. Most people speak from a place of lack. They say things like "I want," "I hope," or "I need," and those statements only reinforce that the thing they desire is still missing. But when you shift your language to reflect fulfillment instead of absence, You invite that reality into the now. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about calling forth what already exists in the spiritual realm. Everything you desire is already present in potential. It only needs to be received, and the bridge between the unseen and the seen is built by your words. When you speak as though your prayer is already answered, you activate the divine principle that what you believe and affirm with conviction must come to pass. Saying, "I am successful," even before you see external success, trains your inner world to expect and receive it. The mind doesn't know the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is real. It responds to repetition and emotion. So if you consistently speak from a place of having, your mind, body, and spirit begin to act accordingly. There is power in speaking from the end. It sends a message to life itself that you are no longer waiting. You are living it now. This removes resistance. You stop doubting, second, guessing, and questioning the timing. You move in faith. You walk in confidence. You show up with the energy of someone who already has the result, and that energy magnetizes the very things you're speaking. People respond differently to you. Opportunities begin to appear that were once hidden. Your entire atmosphere begins to shift, not because of effort alone, but because of alignment. Alignment happens when your inner belief, your spoken word, and your daily actions are all in harmony. Affirmations spoken from fulfillment create new patterns in your subconscious. They reprogram the stories you've been told, the limitations you've accepted, and the identity you've lived in. It's not just a mental exercise, it's spiritual warfare. Every time you say, "I am already there," you are rejecting lack, breaking patterns of delay, and stepping into divine timing. You speak like it's already yours because, in truth, it is. It's waiting for you to agree with it, to declare it, to align with it so it can manifest. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you expect, and your words are the voice of your expectation. Speak it from the end, speak it with faith, and speak it until your entire being believes it. That is the moment reality begins to respond. Declaring faith over fear is one of the most powerful decisions you can make in your spiritual journey. Fear is a liar. It speaks in limitation, in what-ifs, in worst-case scenarios. It makes you believe you are alone, vulnerable, and without support. But faith is your soul's anchor. It doesn't need to see proof to believe. It operates on a higher law, a law that says the invisible is more real than the visible, and the unseen carries more power than the seen. When you declare faith with your words, especially in the face of fear, you are not denying reality. You are overriding it with a greater truth. Fear whispers, "What if it doesn't work?" Faith answers, "It already has." Fear says, "Look at the facts." Faith says, "I walk by truth, not by sight." The moment you speak in faith, something begins to shift, not only in your own mind, but in the atmosphere around you. Every declaration you make becomes a spiritual command. You're no longer agreeing with the chaos around you. You're aligning with the divine order above you. That alignment brings clarity, peace, and direction. You stop reacting to fear-based thoughts and start responding with purpose, rooted in knowing who you are and what is working for you behind the scenes. Faith-filled speech is not about pretending things are perfect. It's about speaking from the power that carries you through imperfection. When you say, "I trust the process," or "this too is working in my favor," you're taking authority over the emotional turbulence that fear creates. Fear tries to paralyze, to confuse, to make you shrink, but faith makes you stand taller, speak clearer, and move forward even when the ground feels shaky. It's a different energy entirely, and that energy has creative power. Every time you choose to speak words of faith, especially when fear tries to creep in, you are breaking cycles. You are rejecting the familiar narrative of worry, anxiety, and defeat. Instead, you are replacing it with a higher truth. I am protected. I am being guided. Even this will serve me. Those words are not just comforts, they are weapons. They guard your mind, shield your spirit, and keep your emotions in check. Over time, those declarations become more than words, they become your nature. You begin to feel a quiet confidence, a steady peace, an unshakable assurance that no matter what happens, you are not alone in this. The decision to declare faith over fear is one you make moment by moment. It's not once and done, it's a spiritual rhythm. You catch yourself when fear starts to rise, and instead of letting it rule, you interrupt it with truth. You say what aligns with promise, not panic. You speak not based on what you feel in the moment, but based on what you know deep within. That knowing becomes your compass, your fuel, and your freedom. Words of faith become your daily breath, your hidden strength, and the pathway through every storm. When you declare that divine right action is taking place in your life, you are choosing to rest in a higher order that goes beyond your own understanding. There are countless moving parts in the universe, timing, people, opportunities, and unseen events, all orchestrated in ways that the human mind cannot fully grasp. Yet when you speak that truth aloud, divine right action is taking place in my life now, you are surrendering to that orchestration with full faith that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. It may not always feel like it. You may not always see immediate evidence, but your spoken word becomes the agreement that aligns you with perfect timing and divine placement. There are moments when you feel like you're stuck, waiting, or being delayed. You may question whether you're in the right place, making the right decision, or heading in the right direction. But when you affirm divine right action, you stop fighting the flow and begin to trust it. You remind your spirit that every step is ordered. Even the pauses, even the rejections, even the quiet seasons are part of a greater movement. Speaking that truth hourly keeps you from drifting into worry and anxiety. It grounds you in a deep, calm confidence that something higher is moving on your behalf, even when you can't see it. Life becomes less about force and more about flow. You no longer feel the need to control every outcome because you've placed your trust in divine intelligence to arrange things perfectly. This is not passive waiting, it's active alignment. When you say divine right action is taking place, you're not sitting back doing nothing. You're showing up in your life with openness, with readiness, with expectation. You are moving forward with peace in your heart because you know that what is meant for you cannot miss you, and what misses you was never meant to stay. This declaration also releases the need for comparison. When others seem to move faster, succeed quicker, or rise higher, you won't feel threatened or behind. Why? Because you are not on their path. You are on your own, uniquely designed one. And divine right action means your blessings will come at the right time, in the right way, for the right reasons. You won't have to force doors open or manipulate outcomes. You will simply speak, trust, and act in alignment, and the results will come, often better than you imagined. Every time you speak those words, you are choosing inner stillness over chaos. You're tuning in to divine guidance rather than reacting from fear or pressure. You begin to notice synchronicities, timely meetings, unexpected help, and perfectly aligned steps. This is the evidence of divine right action, and the more you affirm it, the more it becomes real to you, not just as a belief, but as an experience. You are not waiting for things to work out. You are walking in the knowing that they already are. Even in silence, even in waiting, even in confusion, something sacred is moving for you. Consistency is the secret ingredient that most people overlook when it comes to transformation. It's not what you say once with intensity that changes your life. It's what you say repeatedly with intention. Saying something every hour might sound excessive to some, but it's the repetition that rewires your mind, shifts your energy, and ultimately creates your reality. The power isn't just in the words, it's in the rhythm. Every hour becomes a checkpoint, a moment where you step back into alignment, where you speak truth over your life regardless of what the circumstances may look like. This consistency builds spiritual momentum. Most people speak words of faith or affirmation only when they feel inspired or desperate, but that kind of inconsistent energy sends mixed signals to the universe. One moment you're aligned with faith, and the next moment you're reacting in fear. There's no stable foundation for change. But when you set the pattern, saying it hourly, speaking it no matter how you feel, you are training your mind to think in agreement with your future rather than your past. You are no longer being driven by your emotions or your current circumstances. Instead, you are leading your life with purpose and spiritual authority. Your consistency becomes your discipline, and that discipline becomes your strength. This kind of hourly declaration reprograms your subconscious mind, which is the gatekeeper of your behavior, beliefs, and experiences. The subconscious doesn't respond to logic, it responds to repetition. When it hears the same message again and again, it accepts it as truth. This is how old beliefs dissolve and new ones take root. If you've spent years saying things like "nothing ever works out for me," or "I'll never get ahead," those statements have created mental grooves, emotional patterns, and life results that match them. But when you start replacing those thoughts with new affirmations and doing it hourly, you're filling in those old grooves and creating new ones. Over time, the new path becomes the dominant one. Consistency also reinforces focus. In a world full of distractions, hourly declarations help keep your attention fixed on what matters most. You don't get pulled into every worry or sidetracked by every inconvenience because you've built a habit of returning to your truth. You become less reactive, more grounded, and more present. Your internal atmosphere becomes peaceful, powerful, and intentional. You start noticing shifts, not because you worked harder, but because you stayed aligned, and alignment is where all power flows from. In the process, your energy field changes. You begin to carry the frequency of the words you've been speaking. Others can feel it. Circumstances begin to mirror it. What once seemed difficult begins to feel natural. Doors open, people show up, and solutions appear not because you forced them, but because you consistently invited them with your spoken word. You're no longer begging the universe to bless you. You're meeting it at the level of your vibration, and that vibration is held steady by the rhythm of your words, one declaration every hour, one alignment at a time. And that's how your life begins to change. When you truly understand that the universe responds to your voice, you begin to treat your words with far more reverence. Speaking is not just a way to communicate with others. It is a way to co-create with the invisible. Every time you speak, you are activating laws that are always at work, shaping your life to reflect the vibration of your voice. Your words send out a frequency, and that frequency draws to you people, events, and outcomes that match. You're not just reacting to life, you're participating in its unfolding. The words you choose act like magnets, attracting experiences in alignment with the energy behind them. Most people speak out of habit, emotion, or reaction, unaware that they are declaring their reality with every sentence. When someone says, "Nothing ever works out for me," they are not just expressing frustration, they are issuing a command to life. When someone says, "I never get a break," life aligns to prove them right. The universe does not filter your words for sarcasm or self-pity. It responds to consistency and belief. That's why it's so vital to train yourself to speak only what you want to see. You may not believe it fully at first, but if you say it long enough, belief will follow. Your voice has creative authority. Use it wisely. Every powerful shift in your life begins with a shift in language. When you start saying, "I am favored," "Everything is aligning for me," "I am walking in purpose," you are not just hoping for those things to be true. You are inviting them to be true. Life rearranges itself to honor what you've declared because your spoken word reflects your dominant belief. You don't have to understand how it all works. You just have to understand that it does. Your voice is a sacred tool. It can heal, build, restore, and create. The more you use it with intention, the more you will see tangible shifts. It is not enough to think positively if your words are negative. Thoughts influence your inner world, but your words shape the external one. Speaking brings form to the unseen. It's how ideas become reality, how dreams take shape, how spiritual truths become lived experiences. When you declare something aloud, you are not just convincing yourself, you are giving life instructions on how to respond to you. Speak from power, and life will echo that power back. Speak from defeat, and life will mirror the struggle. Over time, the universe begins to reflect the tone of your voice. If your words are laced with faith, gratitude, expectation, and confidence, then you begin to walk into more opportunities, peace, and alignment. What was once blocked now opens. What was once delayed now flows, not because of luck, but because your voice gave permission. You are in constant dialogue with life itself, whether you realize it or not. And when you speak from the end, from certainty, from truth, the universe doesn't resist, it responds. It always has, it always will. The question is not whether it's listening. The question is, what are you saying?